Lee Bowers wasn't a theorist. He wasn't a writer. He wasn't selling a story. He was a railroad worker doing his job on November 22nd, 1963, positioned where very few people were, behind the grassy knoll near the triple underpass, with a clear line of sight into an area most witnesses never had. People obsess over the moment they mentioned the flash, the smoke, the commotion. But that wasn't the core of what he said. The important part came before the shots. Bowers had been at his post for a long time. He knew the normal traffic patterns. He knew who belonged in that area and who didn't. By late morning, the area was essentially locked down. From around 10 a.m., it was sealed. By 11:30, almost no traffic was moving through the parking and rail yard area behind the knoll. Everything had gone quiet. Then, at approximately 12:10 p.m., give or take 5 minutes, the quiet broke. The first car entered. A 1959 Oldsmobile station wagon, out-of-state license plates, mud along the body like it had just come off back roads or sand. One male inside. The man didn't park. He didn't get out. He slowly moved through the area, circling, scanning, studying the layout. He stayed about 3 or 4 minutes. When he left, Bowers made a mental note, not because it was dramatic, but because nothing was supposed to be moving through there at that time. 5 or 6 minutes later, a second car came in. Different make, different description. Also, only one male inside. This man behaved the same way. Slow movement, no casualness. He wasn't lost. He was probing the layout, checking exits, angles, sight lines. And Bowers noticed something else. The man briefly lifted what looked like a small microphone or walkie-talkie up to his face, like he was transmitting to someone else. Not talking to himself, talking to a team. Then came the third car, a 1961 or 1962 Chevrolet. Out-of-state plates, the same type as the first car. Political stickers on the vehicle, identical in color and design. Same candidate. Same origin. Same group. The car was caked with mud halfway up the body, like it had just come off rural roads. Again, one male, but this one stayed longer. He drove closer. He came down alongside the tower where Bowers was stationed. He wasn't sightseeing. He wasn't looking for a parking spot. He was examining the ground, the paths, the angles, the blind spots. Bowers lost sight of them as they moved back toward the extension of Elm Street near the Austin building. But he made a point of something most people ignored. He could not say they left the area completely. Only that they were lost to his vision. They could have remained. 3 cars, 3 individuals, all entering a secure zone, all performing surveillance behavior, all within minutes of each other. To Bowers, these weren't tourists. These weren't lost drivers. These were men on a job. And there's something else he never forgot. The political stickers. He never named them, not on record. But he emphasized their uniformity. Same style, same colors, same theme. It raised a question. Were these pro-Cuban, or more likely, part of the loud anti-Castro movements that flooded Dallas, New Orleans and Miami at the time, putting banners, stickers and leaflets on everything from cars to shop windows? He never clarified. Maybe he didn't want to. Maybe he wasn't allowed to. Or maybe, by that point, he understood the danger of saying too much. Then came the shooting. After the shots, Dealey Plaza went into chaos. Sirens, screams, people running. Within 3 to 5 minutes, the area around the knoll was sealed tight. At least 50 police flooded the scene. Bowers noticed one of the first officers charge up the incline on a motorcycle, coming from the main roadway toward the overpass. He rode 2/3 of the way up, then turned around and left just as quickly. And in the same area where he had earlier seen the 2 suspicious men, the location tied to those cars, Bowers saw it. A flash, or smoke, or something that wasn't supposed to happen. something out of the ordinary. He couldn't define it exactly, even later, only that he knew it didn't belong there. When questioned, he described the shots clearly. One shot. Then a pause. Then 3 shots in very close order, almost on top of each other. He reported this not only to local police, but to the FBI as well, and when he told them he did not believe the final shot came from the same rifle as the others, he was shut down. They reminded him he wasn't an expert. But Bowers wasn't trying to be an expert. He was describing what he saw. Then the environment around the case changed. The cleanup began. First, immediately after the assassination, a wave of silence. Some people died quickly, too quickly for their stories to matter. With Kennedy gone, headlines shifted. The public moved on. Then came the ones who were too close, too reckless. Guy Bannister, others in his orbit. Then came Mark Lane. In 1966, Lane released his book, which became a bestseller. He followed it with public appearances and a documentary. That was when Lee Bowers stepped into the light, on film, on record, on camera. He wasn't just a name in a transcript anymore. He was a problem. By 1967, many of the people who had spoken to Lane in 1965 and 1966 were already dead. And then, in 1966, Bowers joined them. The Dallas Associated Press headline was simple: "Witness to assassination dies in wreck. Lee Edward Bowers, Jr., former railroad employee, died when his car struck a bridge abutment near Midlothian, Texas. Single car accident. He was 41 years old, a lifetime Dallas resident, vice president of Lockwood Meadows, Inc. at the time of his death." The official account offered nothing unusual. No foul play detected, no mechanical failure identified, clear road conditions, no dangerous curve, just a straight stretch of road and a sudden impact into concrete. What made it worse, or more suspicious, was what people already knew. Bowers had privately told some researchers he believed shots came from the Knoll area, not just the depository. He died less than 2 years after the Warren report, less than a year after going fully on record, and not long after being filmed discussing his version of events. The crash itself raised questions. His car left the road on a clear section. No sharp bends. No excuse for losing control. No mechanical explanation ever provided. Just another witness, another car, another death, and another voice cut out of the record.